for Jared.
Anyway, you may notice someone different is in Jared's chair today.
Indeed, I am not Jared.
You want to introduce yourself? You're usually in here. You're just sitting in a different seat today.
Yeah, most of you probably see me in the reflection of the window. Tapping my foot, Rob. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
My name's Austin. I'm the content creator here. So all the photo,
man, the myth, the
videos you
legend.
see, that's me. Normally I'm behind the camera, so it feels a little funky to be in the front of two cameras. One there and one
He
there.
set it all up, and I just sat here and watched, and then he got in the chair. So he's done all the work.
So I'm recording, setting up, taking down, and editing this one.
Oh.
I am the podcast.
Then I can just go.
This is a video series.
Then I can just go, and you can just...
Yeah, I'll talk to myself.
Take over, yeah.
Sweet.
I don't really have specific questions for you. We're just going to chat about content creation. We've worked together for a little over 2 years now, so I feel like we know each other maybe a little too well. We spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And a lot of, beyond just like planning content, like planning Vox, and spending a lot of time together there.
Shows.
And doing all, oh my gosh, doing all the things. We did how many hours was the drive to Virginia?
14, 16?
Yeah, we did a long drive. You actually opted for that. You opted to spend the time in the van with me, so that was...
Yeah, we're best buds.
He's never admitted that out loud before. This is a big deal. We're going to cut this, and I'm going to keep that video forever. We'll just talk about content creation. You've been here for 4 years now, right?
4 years this month.
There's a hair on me. I can see it. Sorry. Anyway. We're going to be a little bit more unhinged, I think, in this one than normal, but...
That's what happens when you put the marketing kids together.
Calls kids?
I did, yeah.
You're, like, 24? 23?
Close enough.
Full adults.
Full adults.
Anyway. So, how has it changed? Just talk about, like, how content creation has changed since you first joined the team to now, because I'm sure it's vastly different.
Yeah, when I first started in 2020, it was a lot of, let's just get our name out there. It doesn't matter how, well, it didn't matter, but it was more just like, let's do anything and everything we can to just get it out there. So a lot of it was like, let's do a lot of traveling and inspiring people to want to get out and travel and see the nature.
Well, and you were kind of starting from scratch, right? Because we didn't have a content creator before. Yeah. So everything before was probably just like iPhone, whoever can catch it when they can kind of thing.
A lot of it was Jared filming with an iPhone. Johnny did a little bit of stuff. He was like the first marketing director. A lot of iPhone, a lot of let's just get whatever's happening. Not much planning. It just kind of like, I mean, when the company's so young, everything's moving so fast, it's kind of hard to plan anyways.
You were the planner. It was like, come on in, figure this out.
So I came in and it went from a lot of spur of the moment stuff, which still happens a decent amount. It's just
gotta keep it alive.
It's just part of the business. Just keep it alive. But so it was a lot of travel stuff here and there, kind of just like, here's what's happening, here's what's new. And then now it's kind of, we've switched to more of like customer focused, we have so many incredible owners and their stories. So it's like, how do we showcase that more? We built the brand. People know Van Do It. They know we can travel, and that's kind of expected now. So it's, how do we tell the stories of our owners? So it's been incredible. I mean, we get to talk to people all the time, from anything from being like retired to young people, like entrepreneurs that have started their own thing up and have just wanted to go travel because they can do remote stuff now. Literally everything, all walks of life. It's really cool to see. Yeah,
it's awesome. It is, when you step back and look at how like diverse our owner base is. It's really like all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's single people to kids. Like, what Adventure for Six has. There's 6 of them.
Yeah, having kids as young as, I think Vaughn just turned 4. So having like a 4-year-old to like a 12-year-old, and trying to, and then people like Kurt, who's just like him most of the time, traveling and like meeting up with friends. I mean, people who live on the road 100% full time is just, which I cannot imagine doing myself, but it's just like And then the commercial side, that doesn't even like touch the commercial side of the business. So yeah, actually, let's talk about that. So that kind of launched around the same time. I like about 6 or 7 months I had been here or something like that, I think.
Pretty early into your.
But since we were both here for that, we can talk a little bit about like how things shifted with that. So backtracking to like February of 2023.
Roughly. Yeah, somewhere around there.
That was when we had launched the commercial division. So anything from like inventory shoots to like the more, I guess you would call it like inaction lifestyle shots. How would you say that that's really shifted your focus as a content creator, as the pretty much only content creator?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is kind of turnaround time now. It's how fast the company moves so fast. So it's how can we like educate, especially on commercial side, how does stuff work? How are people using the vans? Because there's a lot of companies that reach out and be like, hey, I have this idea, but I don't know if it's going to work. And like what they do. And they're like, oh, actually, here's a van we've done similar. So it's still kind of the same as the traditional van life side, the lifestyle side. It's a lot of educational, I guess now. It's we have such a great product. It's how do we inform people that it will work for them? Like C-Zone's a big thing right now. That's incredible for our commercial clients. Especially like we've had some mobile mental health vans, and being able to like dim lighting and change lighting to fit moods and help calm people down is crazy. So I've done like a lot of walkthroughs with Jared, explaining that. A lot of like we've had police departments, so it's getting them educated and trained on how to do it. Inventory is the last year was really crazy for inventory. It's like I would shoot 5 vans a week to turn around and sell them within a couple hours or a couple days.
We could like never keep up with those. It seems like as soon as we released them, they were like gone. And there were more.
No, it's crazy. I mean, just by the time we post them, there'd be a couple people interested. Yeah. So it's how fast and efficient can we turn that around? We have that dialed down pretty good, honestly. I mean, it used to be me and Haley would clean them for the most part, stage them. I'd
throw
go
back
out
to cleaning all those vans. That was a fun time.
I mean, luckily most of them were new, so it wasn't too bad. But I mean, we both learned a lot of how to put stuff in the vans. Yeah. So with being like a content creator, it's like I also have to know how to set stuff up. Just makes my job a lot easier because you don't have to rely on people as much to get it done. But
well, it betters the product. That's kind of where like the true marketing skill comes into content creation. Obviously, like the things about how to set up the tripods, the angles,
the technical stuff.
Aperture and
shutter
throw
speed
in
and
throw
ISO.
in other camera terms that I don't know.
Frame rate.
But those, like, obviously you need to know those things and how to edit and all of that stuff, like after the fact, how to make, cut out like a couple of words that somebody has said or something. If Jared's like, oh, I didn't mean to say it that way, can you cut out the ums or something like that? I'm sure you've done that for videos for me too, but because it's never a one take.
It's never. If you're a one take, that's a godsend.
That's kind of crazy.
Well done to you because it's not easy.
We did that. I think I set it up for myself, but I bribed myself with ice cream. I said we would go get ice cream if I did that one.
That's true.
Component video in under an hour, and we did it, and we got ice cream. But gotta have those incentives. But anyway, where was I going with that? That you need to know all the editing things, but then you really need to know the product well. So what I was gonna ask next is, you've taken some trips, obviously, that are more like just personal vacation trips, but you've also done a lot of content trips. So how would you say, like, over the years, how those have changed and how having that time in the van to really interact with like the components and use it for yourself has like affected what you create for the company?
Yeah, I would say those trips really allow, like you said, for me to know the product, which is huge because how am I supposed to create a video or photos and make the customer feel like they're in the van? Yeah. Which is can be difficult sometimes. It's a van. So, I mean, how do I give the customer an idea of like depth and space and how like open it is?
Yeah. How many dirt bikes you can fit?
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing is just like storage. Like how, like people can resonate with, you put a dirt bike in there, they're like, oh, it's about this big. Yeah. So they know.
Well, I don't know if I would know.
You'd have a rough idea.
I don't have a dirt bike, so I don't know how big it is.
Yeah. About too tall for me. I'm a short guy, short king.
Too tall for me then too, because we're like the same height. So
people aren't supposed to know that.
well, you can tell by the way we're sitting.
Yeah, I look like a cooked shrimp. Anyways,
Sit with better posture.
yeah. So the trips are fantastic. I did a lot when I first. Well, about a year in, I think. The first year was really building, getting stuff, kind of designing like a plan, like what do we want to do.
Yeah.
Then I was fortunate enough to go on a lot of trips. For a year, I was probably gone for a week or two, every probably like 3 months. So I visited, I think, like 35 states in the van, which is crazy. But those trips allow me to like really get to know the vans and like the little things. Like, how does this go here? Like for kitchens or fridges, it's like, I know behind this like driver's seat, which where we put them a lot now, but that's going to be one of the best places. Or like, how do I strap down dirt bikes? Or how do I charge my equipment? Like, so I can give recommendations on that stuff because we've had owners that are photographers or like do a lot of drone stuff. So they're like, how do I secure this or charge these? And I'm like, well, I can help you with that because I did all these trips.
You have such a unique like perspective on van life. Obviously, you don't do it full time and like don't have one of your own, but with all of these trips, you've taken some that are like just riding trips, some that are just like we're just vacationing and sleeping in the van trips.
Yeah.
And then some where it's like Vox, that's like a combination of working and like doing, you know, all of your camera production stuff with your own drone and that kind of thing. And also just like staying in it and trying to like enjoy living life in it, you know, for a week or whatever. And that's just like not, I feel like that's a very full picture of what like our owners are. You know, they're not going to just do one thing. You know, they usually have multiple things. And it's like, how do I ride dirt bikes? How do I live in it? How do I charge all of my stuff? Like all those things are like important to have, you know, an expert's perspective. I'll call you an expert.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we always say, you know, modularity. You can go from people hauler to cargo to Toya hauler, grocery getter. I mean, I've done
grocery getter.
all of it, honestly.
Yeah.
So just the amount of trips that I've gotten to go on.
Yeah. That reminds me. We have so many fun stories, or at least I think they're fun, stories of us traveling together. And I was thinking about, where did we go? It was Missouri. It wasn't Arkansas. We kept saying it was Arkansas, but we were actually in Missouri.
Yeah, it was like the southeast border of Missouri. So down in like the Ozarks.
Yeah, and we went down there, and one of my favorite memories was us just like eating Subway in the front seats together, hanging out. And then we went and got groceries for like everybody. A couple other people were on the trip with us and trying to just like pile it all inside the slider door just so we could like get out quickly. And then everything like pours out. So don't do that. Pro tip: don't like take the time.
Put your groceries away.
Yeah, pack it away.
Put them in the fridge. Put them in the
otherwise,
shelf.
it's just gonna be like flying all over the place. But,
yeah, I mean, how many times have we gotten stopped?
Yeah.
Too, just like going to the grocery store.
Oh, all the time. Gas stations, all over the place. People want to know and everything.
I mean, we went on a trip with Chris, our old salesperson, Miles, Marcus, who's in customer support now, and myself. We were on
boys trip.
Yeah, we went from Flagstaff all the way up into the Tetons and then back down to Colorado. And I mean, every time.
And then immediately back to Vox.
Yeah, we were back for a day and then went straight to Vox for like, 5 days?
Yeah, so you guys were really going.
But I mean, every time we stopped to get gas, people were just like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let me show you.
Yeah.
So, but even, I mean, Chris would almost put money on it. He'd be like, you think we're going to get stopped at the gas station?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, dude, we're in 2 huge vans with crazy wraps. I mean.
Yeah. Well, the wraps definitely, I mean, the big vans definitely do it, but the wraps absolutely do it. So.
That was a good trip. We used a lot of that content still.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was very diverse. I mean, we went from the desert to the salt flats to the mountains.
Yeah, what's your favorite trip that you've been on in a van?
Probably the one I took with Kyle and Colby. It was like the second time I think I'd ever been to Moab. And you know me well enough that Moab Utah, I guess in general, is probably my favorite state.
Yeah.
Behind Hawaii.
Big
But
rocks.
Hawaii's not quite as easy to get to.
Can't drive a van there.
I could try. I don't think it'd go over very well.
Get on the boat.
Get on the boat. Yeah, no, that trip was, I mean, that was the first time I got to take my dirt bikes out there. To one of my really good friends for 9 days. I think we hit Vox at the end too. So we had 3 or 4 days in the front, shot basically like a mini commercial kind of that we still use a lot. Anything you've seen of the drones in the desert probably was that trip. Got to ride, got to hike, went to Delicate Arch for the first time in Arches National Park. We got to hang out with the owners for 4 days too. I don't know. Moab feels like a second home. So that was one of my... That or the trip I took my dad on, which was also to Moab, but he always wanted to go, and
so sweet.
We got to take him down there and rode, I don't know, 100 miles in like 4 days or something. So a lot of seat time.
Yeah, that is.
And he got to experience van life for the first time. I mean, he's seen the vans. He's been in them and around them a little bit.
We should have him on the podcast.
Brian,
come talk about your experience.
Yeah, but I mean, he was grateful. I mean, he doesn't get to travel much, so.
He's got a cool kid, so.
I try.
Cool kid who gets access to vans.
Cool kid with a cool dad, so.
Okay, we got weird and mushy here.
Yeah.
Back to the content creation. I don't know where else I was going to go with the commercial side. There was more I was going to ask about that. Well, you mentioned how fast we're developing. How does that for you to keep up with everything? Because I know from my perspective in marketing too, it seems like things are changing quite constantly. And I'm sure, if you guys have been listening to this video series for any length of time, you probably have gathered that as well. Yeah. Seems like every time there's something new, sometimes Jared says things like in a public setting like this, and I'm like, oh,
surprise.
Never heard of that one yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you said, we're moving fast. So it's keeps you on your toes, I guess, is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing, like we launched the Move model, like that's a good example. Decided it wasn't quite up to like our standard that we wanted, so we changed a lot. So we finally got like the website updated, and then it was like, oh, surprise, we need to change it. And I was like, okay, and that lasted for what, a month?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fun though. I'd rather be something constantly changing and filming and shooting photos than being like, okay, well, we've done everything.
Yeah.
So what do we do now? It's a lot. It keeps you busy.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a ton of component stuff to do now with all the new stuff we have. We're pretty caught up for the most part when Josh was here, and then.
Oh yeah. I thought you were saying now. I was like, what?
No.
Leave a comment for Austin. All the comments are going to be sent directly to him to put on his schedule of what you want us to film. So
yeah, let me know what you want me to film.
Comment.
But it quickly, like, I don't know, it lasted maybe a year. And it's like, no, now we have new kitchen galleys and modules to put together. So
well, there's almost like 3 things that I can think of right off the bat when it comes to creating those videos. It's like, what is the component?
Yep.
How does it work?
Mm-hmm.
And then troubleshooting for customer service, for them to help them do their jobs, for them to understand so they can help people if things go wrong. And then also maybe you can just watch the video and see like, oh, well, this is why my sink isn't working or something like that. Need to like tighten the line or loosen the line or something like that. And that's why, your water isn't working. And even things like maintenance, like winterizing your water system and stuff like that, protecting your batteries in the winter if you live somewhere that's like really, really cold, how to take care of them. And then placement too, because we are, it's a great problem to have that there are just like so many options for all of our products. Like there's a million places that a kitchen pod could go. There are a couple places like you mentioned that are pretty standard where they go, but there are just so many options that like and like you said earlier too, it's kind of difficult to show the spacing to like really make it come across on camera, like how big this really is, how much space you'll actually feel like you have, how it feels when you have dirt bikes and a couple seats in here and like that kind of thing. So having those videos that show like you can put it here, you can put it here, you can move it. This is how you move it too. That's another big thing that like you don't have to bring it back to us to have us move your kitchen pod. Like you can learn how to do that yourself. It's actually quite simple. I've done it. Yeah. Big, strong muscles. It's definitely not easy, but that kind of thing is really important too. So with like all of those, I'm guessing that was your timer that went off.
No.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
How much time do we have left?
Now it's going off.
Oh, Great timing. This is usually what Austin does from behind the camera, and then
normally I'm back
then he
over
like
there and
wiggles his eyebrows at Jared and lets him know that we're running low on time.
Typically, I just give him 5, but he always says I'm doing something other.
I know he does because I never look. I don't want to be like, there's nobody sitting over there this time, which is
I know it's weird.
This is probably the stillest our van has ever been because you're not shaking your leg.
Hey, listen.
Anyway, well, I guess we'll end on that. Is there anything you wanted to add about that, like that threefold, how you create videos, and maybe like if you want to give something to somebody who's passionate about content creation, anything that you would say to them, or if they're in a similar field?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, every video is more than one video.
Yeah,
pretty much. It gets used. I mean, the public may not see it, but like internal use, stuff to even like help our engineers. Like,
yeah,
they'd be like, "Hey, can I see this? Did it work when we're doing it?" So yeah, I mean, it's always multi-purpose. Is what Jared says. Like, if it's not being used multiple ways, multiple times, like we just have to be efficient, make it work. So I mean, you had that right. Far as like somebody who's wanting to do content creation, I don't know. I would just say like, just practice and learn as much as you can. I'm basically self-taught. I went to college for a little bit, year and a half, 3 semesters. Taught professor. Anyways, long story. Dropped out. Here I am. Pretty much self-taught, and I'm always learning. Like, there's always something new. There's always some new effect or way to color grade or program to use. So I was like, just keep practicing, keep up on like what's happening in the industry, and then
and DM Austin with any questions.
Yeah, DM me. I'll be happy to help.
We've gotten requests from owners to do like a video photo workshop thing.
Yeah, so if you want to see that, let us know in the comments.
Let us know, and at the next box we can do some kind of demonstration. So
by yours truly.
He signed himself up for that, and now it's on video, so it's set in stone. So.
Good thing I'm editing this and I can cut it
out. But you will not.
No.
Otherwise, I'll comment and put you on blast.
You're like, I knew you were going to do that.
Okay, cool.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Sweet.
What do we say, Mr. Content Creator? What do we?
Oh, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, press all of the buttons, not the dislike one.
The bell icon for post notifications.
The bell. Yep. And hopefully I'll see them in front of the camera again. I don't know.
Yeah, if you want Austin back, let us know. I think he did great.
Okay, bye.